So it's a huge number of people that are looking at these files and really deliberating and sometimes agonizing about these decisions. We really want to try and make decisions that are fair and justifiable. And so, often there's a lot of really careful thinking that has to go into that by quite a large group of people.
Hello everyone, welcome to Cambridge from the Inside. We're here with Marcus. Would you like to introduce yourself in case?
Yep, so I'm Marcus Tomalin. I'm the Director of Admissions here at Trinity Hall.
Nice. So we're here to talk about this, mysterious thing called winter pools, which is, well, I guess, Marcus, do you want to explain to us what winter pools are?
Yeah, so the winter pool is something that people might have heard about, but it's probably, I would say, the main part of the admissions process at Cambridge that people know least about.
But quite instrumental.
Very important, very important. Yeah. I think the reason people know least about it is because it doesn't normally involve the applicants having to do anything themselves. I'll explain what the winter pool is in a second, but by the time we reach the stage of the winter pool, the applicants have kind of done all the things that they're required to do. So I think that's why they tend to know less about the winter pool. But since it may have an impact on whether they receive an offer or not, it seems quite important that we sort of clarify what it is. So broadly speaking, the winter pool is a part of the admissions process at Cambridge that happens in sort of early to mid-January. So it happens after all the other parts of the process have taken place. So after all the admissions assessments have been taken, written work's been submitted, after the interviews have happened. So it happens after all of those things. It's really the last stage of the process. And in essence, it's our redistribution mechanism. So it exists to ensure, hopefully, that the applicants with the greatest ability and potential receive the offers, regardless of which college they happen to have applied to in the first instance. So the way I normally describe it is sort of in concrete terms by picking an example. So let's say here at Trinity Hall in a given year, let's say for a subject like law, we wanted to make 8 offers. And there are always constraints on how many offers we can make. We only have a limited number of bedrooms in the college, so we couldn't make 50 offers for law even if we wanted to, because the students will have nowhere to stay, right? So there are always constraints, logistical constraints. So let's say in a given year for law we wanted to make 8 offers, and let's say out of all the people who applied to us for law that year, we had 10 people who applied who were just really, really, really impressive, who definitely deserved an offer. If we can only offer to 8, what we try to do is sort of rank order them as best we can. We would then make offers to the top 8. The other 2, the ones to whom we couldn't make offers ourselves, we would place in the winter pool, which means that we would make all their paperwork, all the details of their application available to our colleagues at all the other colleges. And we would strongly encourage one of those colleges or 2 of those colleges to make offers to the people that we couldn't make offers to ourselves. So that's what I mean by redistribution. So effectively what it means is that as a result of the winter pool, someone might apply to college X and eventually receive an offer from college Y. And that will have happened because of the winter pool. And the percentages change a little bit each year, but it's roughly around 20% of all the people who receive an offer from Cambridge, they will receive it via the winter pool. So they will receive it as a result of having been redistributed. So it's a really significant, it's not just like 1% or 2%, it's 20%. So it really plays a very important role. So that just from a high level perspective is what it is and what it exists for.
Yeah, because 20% shows that how much colleges are using it, because for every 5 students, one of them they've chosen from the winter pool. So just to be very clear for anyone who's doesn't quite understand, the winter pool is a database of applicants who've applied to Cambridge, a database that could be used when you want to look at students who've applied to Cambridge but not to your college, and you want to see if their application is a strong application and therefore choose them to come to provide them an offer for your college.
That's right. That's right. As I say, we're just looking to, as a community of colleges, we're looking to make sure that the offers go to the most deserving applicants. And so if, for a particular subject in a particular year, if some of the applicants we've received here at Trinity Hall are weaker than some of the applicants who have been assessed by other colleges, we would rather make offers to those stronger applicants if any of them are available in the winter pool. We would rather do that than not, because that's in the best interest of those applicants.
And the university.
And the university, it's in everyone's best interests. We all want the best students to come here. So that's the kind of role of the winter pool. And as you say, it these days it exists as a kind of database that it's entirely online these days. I mean, it's called the winter pool, so people maybe have visions of everyone wears swimming costumes and they're on sun loungers, but unfortunately we don't all fly out to California and sit beside some actual pool and discuss applicants. It would be, I guess, nice if we could do that, but that's not how it works. It's entirely online, so we sit in our various offices and things around the university. We can look online at all the paperwork that has been accumulated for a particular applicant. That includes things like the admissions assessment, any written work, the interview report forms, so the sort of comments on the interview that the interviewers will have written down. We can see all of that. And so, if I'm involved in the winter pool for a particular subject, what I'll do is look through pretty much all the files for that subject that other colleges have made available.
All of them?
In some cases, all of them. Okay. For the larger subjects like natural sciences, probably not all of them. There might be particular subsets that I look at. But for smaller subjects like, philosophy or history of art, I'd look at all of them. It's a lot. Yeah. I mean, I should say perhaps that the way it's sort of structured, it normally lasts for about 4 days.
Okay.
The first couple of days are primarily days for reading all the paperwork. So we just read lots and lots and lots of files all online.
This is after the interviews.
This is all after the interviews. We have all the information.
Okay.
Yep. So we just read lots and lots and lots of files. As director of admissions, I will liaise with any of our directors of studies who are interested in obtaining more students from the pool. And between us, we'll agree a sort of rank-ordered list. So ideally, we'll make an offer to that person, but then this is the second person, third person, fourth person. And we'll have a list of names of people that we're really interested in and that we'd like to make offers to. And then the way the decision making process actually works is that towards the end of the winter pool, usually on the last day of it, there are a whole series of meetings. They're subject-specific meetings. So there's a separate meeting for history as a subject. There's a separate meeting for linguistics. There's a separate meeting for law, blah, blah, blah. And so I'll go to that meeting with my list of names. And basically, there's a mechanism for deciding which colleges can pick first.
Okay.
And in the majority of cases, it's usually based on need. And what that means is that, to stick with the law example, just because I've been running with that, but it's true of any other subject as well. There's nothing distinctive about law specifically here. But let's say I want to make 8 offers in for law applicants at Trinity Hall. And let's say I've already earmarked 7 offers as a result of the people we interviewed ourselves. Then I'm just looking to make 1 additional offer from the winter pool to sort of make it up to 8. There might be another college that wants to make 8 offers in total, but it's only made 2 so far. Yeah. So it has greater need because it's looking for 6 people. I'm looking for 1 person. So there's a way of determining who picks first of all the colleges that's usually based on need. And then the college with the greatest need will say, I'd like this person, and then they can make an offer to that person. And then the college with the next greatest need would say, I'm interested in this other person. So then they get to make an offer to that person.
Which makes complete intuitive sense.
And that's kind of how it works. So, it's a weird combination of a lot of reading of paperwork and a lot of thinking about, the relative merits of the applicants. And then by the time you get to the meeting, it goes around pretty quickly. And it's just, a college name is called out. They give the name of a particular applicant, and then we go on to the next college. So it's a kind of slightly, it's a process of 2 halves, if that makes sense.
And just to be clear, so each college has like an admissions tutor or director of admissions like yourself. There's 29 colleges. So there's 29, and that's just 29 admissions tutors who are looking over the winter pool applicants, which I think as someone who's not part of working in the colleges or part of the university, I don't think many people would think that there's on the top end, on the highest level, there's 29 individuals who are working on admissions. If you see what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of eyes.
And then, of course, for the winter pool, as a director of admissions, I'm usually also working with at least 1 director of studies. So there's usually at least 2 pairs of eyes from 1 college for each subject. So there might be 29 admissions tutors, but if you add in all the directors of studies as well,
and they're the academics from the specific subjects.
Yes, exactly. So it's a huge number of people that are looking at these files and really deliberating and sometimes agonizing about these decisions. We really want to try and make decisions that are fair and justifiable. And so, often there's a lot of really careful thinking that has to go into that by quite a large group of people.
A system that, if it was that could be done through like a algorithm, not very well, but actually has well over 100 people involved year after year, like human beings who really care, like human beings who are also, all of them top-end academics, are very good at like critically analysing anyways, carefully thinking who to give offers to. So I think just to like really make it clear for the viewers, so if I'm like a student and I'm agonising over which college to apply to, and I'm thinking that depending on which college I apply to, there's going to be I'm going to increase, or there's some colleges I'll have a higher likelihood to get into Cambridge, which is a feeling that a lot of applicants have. It sounds like this winter pool shows that no matter which college you apply to, if you put in a strong application, you will be picked up.
Yeah, I mean, we do everything we can to try and make sure that that's the case. Whether we do it 100% perfectly every year, it's complex. But that's what we're all striving to achieve. Because
if a college receives a huge amount of applications, more than they can actually provide, and a college receives a much fewer amount of applications, and they have spaces available through the winter pool, the students who deserve an offer will like find a place.
That's why we spend so much time reading the files and discussing and deliberating to try and achieve that outcome.
And it also reinforces applicants to choose a college that they really like, and it kind of the winter pool really demystifies the idea that certain colleges are easier or harder to get to. Because it would be a shame if you really liked one college, but someone told you that you shouldn't apply to that one, you should apply to this one instead. And that was the reason why you applied rather than going for the college that you could see yourself living in for 3-4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as I said at the start, about 20% of all the students who end up receiving a place at Cambridge receive a place from a college that's different to the one they applied to in the first instance. And so, the deliberating and agonizing about college choice, again, as I think we've said in previous podcasts, it's far less important than things like choosing the right subject. Because if you get an offer from college X or college Y, you'll still be studying the same subject. Whereas, if you apply to college X and you're solely focused on getting into that college, what are you going to do when you receive an offer from college Y? It's still going to be an amazing place to come and study, and an amazing kind of privilege to sort of be in such a beautiful place, studying with such amazing teachers. So it doesn't really matter, really.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I also just wanted to add, just to clarify, so say I'm an applicant and I've gone through the interviews and I've done my application, and from your perspective, you've just done all the interviews, you've got all the applications. So people who are put into the winter pool, it's not. Am I right in thinking it's not just everyone who didn't get Is it? Does every person who applied to Cambridge go into the winter pool, or is it selective in who goes into the winter pool?
It's selective. So there tend to be, I guess, kind of particular categories of applicants that are placed in the winter pool. As I said earlier, someone who's just really impressed us in every single respect, but we just simply cannot make another offer in that subject, they'll definitely go in the winter pool, and they're likely to be right at the top of the lists I was talking about earlier, because almost all the college will say, wow, this person is stunning, so that they'll be one of the first ones to be picked out. There might be people who the majority of aspects of their application are really impressive, but if they had 2 interviews, they might have got really good marks in one interview, like really high marks. We normally mark the interviews out of 10, so they might have 2 9s from one interview, but then they might have a 4 or a 5 from the other interview. And that might have been a reason why the college they applied to chose to make offers to other applicants who had a more consistent performance. But having done that well overall and that well in one of the interviews, that's a reason for being placed in the winter pool, because it may well be that another college thinks, well, how trustworthy, is that one interview with lower scores? Given everything else, we think this person does merit an offer. So that person may well receive an offer that way. So that's a sort of long-winded way of saying, it is selective who goes in the winter pool. It's not just the default route for everyone who applied who hasn't already been earmarked for an offer. It'll be a subset of that larger group.
Because a proportion of people, after we've received all the information, will be rejected or deselected.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
and they'll no longer be in the position of receiving a potential offer. So just so I'm right in thinking that everyone who's in the winter pool are serious contenders, and you wouldn't be put in the winter pool if the college thought you didn't think that you shouldn't get an offer somewhere.
That's right. If you're in the winter pool, it means that your ability has been recognized by the people assessing your application. Now, it may be that a given college in a given year saw even better people and chose to make offers to those. But if you're in the winter pool, it really does indicate that your application has been taken extremely seriously, and that the team assessing it has recognized your capability.
So in a perfect world, there would be capacity for taking everyone who's in the winter
pretty
pool.
Much, but of course in reality there are logistical constraints and constraints on the number of bedrooms and all of that sort of thing. So not everyone who goes in the winter pool gets taken out. We'd have to double the size of the university to do that, probably.
Which I imagine the university has grown past the several decades.
So certainly more people are taken out now than was the case 25, 30 years ago.
Interesting. Wow. Was there anything else that you had about the winter
I don't
pools?
think so. I mean, hopefully that sort of just gives a bit more detail and especially about the kind of process of how it works. And again, just to emphasize what I said towards the start, the applicants don't need to do anything when it gets to the winter pool stage. They've done all the things that they need to do, which I think is why there's sort of less information about the winter pool in the kind of public domain. But when people receive their offer letters in the new year, they'll know that they were in the winter pool because the letter will indicate that, and obviously they'll receive an offer from a college that's different to the one that they applied to. So I just think because people do encounter the winter pool in that sort of way eventually, it's worth just knowing a little bit more about how it actually works in practice. And if this is something that people would like to know even more about, we could maybe plan an even longer sort of podcast about it. But hopefully that's enough just to sort of sketch in some of the detail for this very important part of the process.
If you're watching this, do put in the comments if you have any questions about the winter pool or anything admissions related. And we do hope that this provides some encouragement for those who are watching, that applications are taken clearly very seriously with a lot of thought by multiple individuals, whether that's going to encourage you to apply to Cambridge, or if you're in the situation and you've done the interviews, it should put your mind at ease that like how much thought has gone into with the applications. So thanks for watching. If you're if that's from YouTube or your podcasting platform, if you're in the middle of the applications, good luck, and we'll see you guys next time.
Nice. It was fun. We didn't go over time, did we?